Hello again. This is my second time recording this because I figured out the problem to the whole no audio issue. It's because I had my headphones plugged in and it was defaulting to that microphone. Not great. And since that microphone doesn't activate until it's put down, there's absolutely no audio whatsoever. I know what I'm going to talk about. I can at least do it somewhat concise. So let's try to do this a little faster than I did last time. Um, I specifically wanted to I wanted to talk about the porn habits I've been having this week, sleep patterns, and oh man, even if I had the previous video, there's no audio, so I don't know what the hell I was talking about. How did I already forget? That's a bad habit. I know there were three major points and then one last exiting one, but I guess there's not much I can do about that. If I remember it, I'll talk about it. So let's start with porn, since that's the major one. Um, Last week's habits. I was pretty mellow, admittedly. It was relatively calm. Even on one of the days that I was able to do it, I just really didn't feel it and just didn't. Of course, it seems like most consistently, Tuesday is my worst day. Of course, again, only 2 weeks of data so far, but if it does happen again, I know exactly when my worst day is and what I can keep till last, as well as what I need to hamper. Um, this week in particular, though, I'd say it was more back to normal. It was pretty regular, even though I still think those numbers are decently higher than they should be. It's still rather normal. I might average all of them up at the end of the month, make a weekly average and then a monthly average, and just kind of use that as a comparison, a bit of a benchmark. Um, and then next up, sleep habits. Oh, no, I'm not actually done with that point. I I made a point not just yesterday, but in the previous video, to point out how yesterday I felt a strange feeling of guilt. And I know it was for pornography. I just know. That's just how I was feeling. It was really strange. And unfortunately, for me, this feeling doesn't come around often. And that means I can't analyze it, that means I can't understand it, that means I can't explore it because it's like a once in a blue moon type thing. It happens once every God knows how long. So there's not much I can do to actually explore it. It's really frustrating, and if it does start popping up more, I'll give my guesses and voice it here, but just not really much I can say about it since it just isn't consistent. Um, and now on to the the thing I was supposed to be talking about at this point. Sleep schedule. I have pretty much set a concrete time for when I go to sleep, or at least I'm able to control the time at which I go to sleep. Typically, as of right now, it's 11:30. I try not to do it past midnight because I want to be in bed by midnight, at least trying to go to sleep by that time. And it's worked so far. I uh, I did some research into sleep and into how long you typically need to sleep, and one, I think my body kind of took that information and fully adapted it, as well as maybe it's just me realizing information that was already being used. And I decided to set when I want to go to sleep based off of that. 11:30 was when I set it so that I wake up around 7, anywhere from 7 to 9. I think the most consistent timing is like 8 to 8:30. So, I've set a concrete going to sleep time, at least going to bed. I don't fully process going to sleep as anything but being unconscious, even though I know that's not true, and I've looked into it. You can still stay conscious while getting restful sleep. My brain doesn't fully recognize that as sleep until well, after I've already been to sleep and woken up. So that's just kind of the way it is. Um, and I also haven't set an alarm yet. I think I'm not going to do that for now because of sleep debt. I currently know I have a lot of sleep debt, or at least I think I do. But I'm essentially letting my body just kind of figure that out on its own. And then when I want to actually set a time, I can just condition myself to my phone alarm. Or, um, on the contrary, not the contrary, on the other hand, I could just ask my mom to give me an alarm clock so that I don't have this in my room at all. Because that's kind of how I've been going to sleep pretty consistently. I've been leaving my phone out here, just left on a table, and it's been pretty helpful. Since I can't look at any screens and it's essentially just a black room, I'm entirely asleep. It helps me go to sleep faster too. So that's good news. Um, as a addition to my, I guess, new habit or better sleeping habit, it's really not new. Um, my room actually feels more like somewhere I just go to sleep and store stuff instead of I'm gonna go in there and watch a video for 3 hours and then go to sleep. Stuff like that. So I really have conditioned myself a little better to actually going to sleep whenever I want to. I'm still not I'm still not in full control of that, but I'm definitely getting closer. So that's nice. I've also definitely been repairing my circadian rhythm by doing this. So very good news. Um, next up, I guess we'll just broadly quantify this as hygiene because they all kind of relate to that. Let's start with cleaning. Cleaning. I consistently every week clean on Wednesday. I dust, I vacuum, particularly just the living room and most of the dining room, which isn't necessarily the best, but it works pretty well for the amount that one the dogs don't can't go in because as you can see there's a gate back there. So, yeah, the hallway is just a lot easier to clean and is also a lot more clean. A lot of phlegm. That's not great. It's not coming out either. But it's also just been working pretty well. I have noticed it's not working nearly as well as I thought it was, though, because since it's only 1 day a week and two dogs in a desert, there's a lot of dust and dirt that gets in here. And that buildup isn't really fully alleviated whenever it happens once a week. I think I proposed the idea, I may have talked about this on here, but I definitely proposed the idea to myself of having one one day out of every month dedicated to just cleaning. And it's not just me, everybody in the house does it. We clean up the whole house. And then from there, I use that as a benchmark to maintain for the rest of the week, for the rest of the month, until the next month happens. And I do like that idea. I think it can be very helpful. It's especially helpful for holidays. But when it comes down to actually practicing, that's not really going to alleviate much of the issue because all of the buildup will still be there while I'm not really modifying my my maintenance at all. So it would pretty much end up back in the same state, just maybe a little slower and maybe a little cleaner as a baseline. So instead, um, I've been thinking about doing it twice a week instead, specifically Monday and Friday because 2 day weekend, 2 days between that, 3 days, not a big difference. It's pretty easy and doesn't really matter when I get it to the trash because it's never enough to to warrant needing to worry about it. So I can just do it anyway. And even then, one's literally the day before trash day, and the other is like 4 days before trash day, and also there's another cleaning day. So yeah, It also allows me to have a little more freedom when it comes to grooming the dogs because then I can just cut their hair whenever and not have to worry about the mess being there for more than a week. Well, or for a week, not more than a week. So that that's at the very least another positive. That's another thing I need to more concretely think about. But yeah, that's what's gonna happen. That's the plan that I'm going to enact after this next month because I'm not going to be at the house next month, or at least most of next month. So I'm going to enact that in. I forgot what month comes after March. I'm just gonna not even just after March. Um, oh, goodness. Um, and then particularly, I made a pretty decent push through when it comes to brushing my teeth. I've voiced how it's been pretty difficult for me to actually get a consistent schedule, or not schedule, a consistent habit of brushing my teeth down. Especially when it comes to the dentist, I'll just brush for a week beforehand, go there, get it cleaned, brush for a week afterwards, and then just kind of stop, which is pretty bad. I mean, sure, it works with teeth brushing, and like, well, pretty much like once every 2 months, I go back to actually brushing it, which keeps my teeth in functioning shape, but it's not healthy, is it? Um, so I've decided to do a thing where every day that I'm not supposed to be using porn, I brush my teeth twice. Do it once in the morning after I eat, 30 minutes after, once at the night, pretty much any time. It doesn't really matter when. As long as I'm not going to be eating after it, it shouldn't matter. Or at least eating for 30 minutes after it. So that's just the way I've been approaching it. And I think I'm going to continue with it. The only downside is I wish I would have done this like when I actually started my my not challenge, my plan, my 7 phase plan, because yeah, last phase would be phase 7. So that kind of sucks. I have less time and I have to adapt more. But it does allow me to clean more efficiently at least, and it won't make me yearn to do it outside of that. So I can at the very least set some form of consistency, and since it's 3 days of the week, it's gonna more consistently keep my teeth clean. Pretty much the only issue I had with keeping that a consistent pace was I'd forget, and then I just wouldn't pick it back up again, which I did forget today. After this video, I said that last time, but after this one, since this one's recording with sound this time, I need to brush my teeth while it just uploads, since they usually take about 2 minutes. So, yeah, it's pretty much kind of everything I got going on right now. Just all of it outlined, and voicing the whole teeth brushing plan should help me commit to it better. It definitely helped me commit um, to the 7 phase plan I got going on for fighting porn, as well as I'd have to think. It's not coming at the top of my head, so I just have to think about it. Um, so yeah. Oh, this series. This series was me vowing to the camera saying, I will do it. It doesn't matter if people watch it. I must do it. And it's this little video series that's helping me do that. That's that's what's helping me. So yeah, those are my two biggest examples, and I think those are my two biggest successes so far. Obviously, the video series is a definitive success because the only definitive end date was, well, the beginning of this year, and I'm still doing it, so extra credit, I guess. And then the point thing, I haven't failed yet, and I guess the biggest test would either be one, if I complete it flawlessly on my first try, which would be really awesome, or two, seeing that I get back on the horse if I do fail, which has been my toughest thing. As I said with the brushing teeth thing earlier, I'd forget and then just not do it again after that. So these videos are pretty helpful. And also, I kind of did do that with the videos. I did fail to get them out at certain days or I just couldn't, but I then proceeded to do it either I would do it early, like on Thursday, or I would do it the day after. So it's not like I just stopped entirely with the videos. Maybe that's partially because I enjoy making them, but you know, there is definitely something there. So great, great. Um, I don't really have anything else, so I'll see myself next time. It's only 5 minutes less. Actually, no, it's four, but I don't know. It's still kind of cut down on time, I guess.